It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And now my favorite part of the show, wherein I guess what's in Tim's background. And Tim, I'm going to say, let me set this up for you. Ozzie Guillen, the former White Sox manager, is in the Venezuelan Winter League managing right now. And I think he's coming back. And my suggestion to Ozzie is, if he's taking a boat back, try to fly the American League pennant flag from 2005, because, you boom shakalaka. So that's what you're depicting right now, is Ozzie Guillen floating back towards the southern coast of Florida. Am I right about that?
It is not Ozzie, it's Oscar. I went down to Sesame Street to visit Oscar the Grouch, and it would appear that he's not here. Looks like he's self-deported.
Yeah. Well, good godless Somalia. Oh, and have you seen the reaction to that already? It's like, we gotta beware of Somaliophobia. I mean, and then Ilhan Omar coming up with all these excuses. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris had become the president and this had broken? Well, we would probably have impeachment proceedings against the vice president of the United States.
Well, I don't think this would have broken if Kamala had won.
Sure, they would have allowed it. Yeah.
I mean, this is I work a lot in Minneapolis. This has been Minneapolis news for a couple of years now, I believe. This is not news.
It's interesting how it breaks nationally. It's like what happened in England with, again, not Somalians, but all the raping that goes on in England, and everybody knew about it, but then it erupts at some point.
Well, the only reason why this entered the news cycle is because Trump called them garbage.
Right, sure.
It still would have been buried if he hadn't done that. It's how he's a master of the media. He trolls them into accidentally running a story that they never wanted to run in the first place.
Well, it's interesting because that is the MO of Trump. What happens is that he overstates something. There's a slur, whatever. I mean, and when he called them S-hole countries, well, yeah, they are S-hole countries because that's why the people left those countries to come here. Pardon my Sam Kinison. No, so it's just. Yeah, right.
They say it's part of their culture. Well, you can't blame them. It's just part of their culture. Well,
to steal?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's why we don't
we don't have 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal. We don't have that. Yeah. And we're entitled to steal from the infidel. So but she was Ilhan Omar was trying to make an excuse for that, wasn't she? I forgot exactly what it was.
It's part of the culture, which is why multiculturalism is not a good idea. Yeah. It's we are a unicultural nation.
It's not part of the culture to commit fraud, is it? To take COVID funds and misappropriate them. That's,
I don't know if it was fraud,
but I think what she tried to do. Just say anything.
It's a nation of pirates. So
yeah, right. Right. I think the Babylon Bee came up with Minneapolis to rename the baseball team the Somali Pirates or something like that. But it's okay.
And here's the other thing is how do these, absent people inside the government, these other people would have no idea how to apply for these funds.
No, they obviously were abetted. There's no question about it. Or it was so lax. It's not a good look. Speaking of slurs on the immigrants and others, we have this Brian Allen tweet about J.D. Vance saying that child sacrifice was widespread in the New World.
And that's just wrong. They sacrificed adults.
well, you're close, because from my reading of ChatGPT, so I instantly became an expert. I'd say the sacrifice was about as widespread as CTA train passengers setting other passengers on fire. It didn't happen a lot, but it did happen, and it caused some consternation. But no, you'd see that some of the cultures, we paint with a broad brush, Kimosabi, and we try to say that they're all the same. They weren't. There were different tribes, different federations, and some of them frowned on that. But
they weren't all cannibalistic.
Oh no, they weren't. They weren't all. Right. That's what we're trying to say.
And they never ate anyone from their own tribe. That was
Meantime, speaking of the Native Americans, as we all know, Ken Burns has taught us that the Iroquois Confederacy was inspired the American Revolution.
Sure.
And I believe their declaration said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they taste delicious, and that are enhanced with a touch of rosemary and paprika." So yeah, it's all right. There you go. There you go. So where are we in the big show?
Did you brine your babies before you roast them, or did you just?
All right, enough of that. Enough of that. It's horrible. All right, let's talk about Hexit here. I mean, when I get bored with it because I'm like in the 18th paragraph of an Andy McCarthy dissertation on the law on this, you already know that it's a little muddied and muddled up and all that. And I was looking for the simple answer. I mean, either it was justified, it was legal, or it wasn't. But now I'm in the fog of war talk. I just don't understand where it is. So let's go back. Let's go to Tim Slagle for some clarity on this, and I hope it involves some conspiracy.
It is interesting, though, that those 6 Democrats came out with their video saying you don't have to obey illegal orders right before the Washington Post
by the way,
did an article on.
Yeah, you don't have to be a tinfoil hat to believe that. There's a lot of people who are wondering, boy, that's serendipitous in the no coincidences world that they came up with this idea before it all broke, but after it all happened, in early September. So maybe they were acting on some knowledge and were gaming the system that way. But so there's your conspiracy there. But as for the substance of the allegations, I mean, do you think we were justified? Because I'd like to put this behind me, because we got some big stories to hit, Tim, including the news that women's farts are more smelly than men's. That's a New York Post story that I just saw today, and I'm afraid we're not going to get to it. Are you keeping track of the time here, Tim? I hope.
Yeah, we're fine. We're 7:56 right now.
Okay.
I think that a boat traveling in international waters, not flying the flag of the nation where the boat is registered, and not tuned in to the hailing frequency, can be considered a pirate vessel. And you can deal with a pirate vessel in any fashion that you feel is necessary.
That's interesting that you have that wrinkle on it, because that's one that I haven't actually seen. I'm sure it's there. Now, I'm a neocon fan, so people like Noah Rothman and others who, by the way, have come up with rationales, legal justifications for actually declaring war or asking for authority from Congress to start fighting Venezuela. A little bit upset that Trump, once again, similar vein to calling the Somalis garbage, that there's this term called narco terrorists, which, as Noah points out, they really aren't. They're kind of begging the question there. They're not considered terrorists just because they deal in narcotics. Okay. But Trump tends to elide things and doesn't like nice legal distinctions. It's a portmanteau, the word narco terrorists, a neologism, a new word there. And also remember the Ozzie Guillen's ship will be arriving at Portmanteau, Florida. Just that's the only reason I told that whole thing. So yeah. So what?
I
What do you
believe
think?
I believe that there is a video of Joe Biden back in 1989 using the term narco-terrorist.
And what does that mean? What it means if Biden used it, therefore they're not narco terrorists. Just like if Biden prosecuted the Honduran president, okay, for drug trafficking. And by the way, I think his stuff was actually fentanyl that was coming in, whereas from Venezuela, please, I need my scorecard here. It's cocaine, right? So which we our
fentanyl? No, I think all the fentanyl comes from China. I don't think there's
it comes from China through Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if Honduras had anything to do with that, but the cocaine
it's all cocaine from that part of the world. I mean, come on.
All right.
Anyway, that's where the money is. I actually did the math, and $1 million worth of cocaine is essentially a square 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. It's essentially if you bought two bundles of tile at Home Depot, that would be $1 million of cocaine in the same size. So it's not. It's much easier to transport for high value than most other drugs. So anything that comes from Central
fentanyl
America,
isn't it? Yeah, I mean,
that's even worse. Yeah, you can fit $1 million under your toenail of fentanyl.
No,
you probably wouldn't want to, but
no, unless you suck your toes, which I don't want to do.
It's I don't.
What kind of time do we
have? We got about 20 minutes left.
20 seconds left, did you say?
20 seconds. Yeah. 17.
Okay, so let's count it down together. Let's practice for New Year's Eve. Okay.
10,
if I mentioned Ben Grauer,
7,
would you know who I'm
6,
talking about? We'll
5,
tell you after these words. Bruce Wolf and Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And hey, Northwestern caved to the Trump administration on the Hamas deal that they made, which I love.
Are you proud of your alma mater today?
Well, I don't even know now, whether I start rooting for them again. I renamed them the University of Qatar Evanston campus. Now they're getting pilloried by their own. I saw a professor wrote something in the Tribune, an op-ed saying, what has happened to academic freedom if we can't cave to the terrorists, which is what happened. So, how else was the Trump administration going to get these schools to conform with, the very civil rights laws that they have wanted enacted and wanted to protect, for example, women on campus without even due process for men. All right, in events of an alleged sexual attack, but for the Jews, it didn't matter. We're going to make a deal, and they made a deal, and they tried to make it look like it wasn't a deal, and it was a deal. The weak-kneed president of the university, Schill, appropriately named, exited quite a few months ago, and now finally Northwestern kicked in $75 million. Which, look at the endowment. I mean, would that even build, the goalposts on the new stadium?
That's just an interest payment on their fund.
Right. So, but at least they got, the administration got the concession. And, I know some people who, there had to be more modest ways of no. I mean, you got to stick it to them. So, kudos to the Trump administration for doing that. I mean, but will I actually? No, Northwestern's not going to get my love back for quite a while. By the way, the whole point of going to Northwestern was to be alienated from Northwestern. It was not to be a joiner. It was and Northwestern, most of the students I know, I was basically University of Chicago wannabe. And what did the University of Chicago do with their football field? They didn't play some dumb jock game on it. They built the atomic bomb underneath that field. That's what they did.
Well, it wasn't a football field, was it? It was a soccer field.
I thought it was Stagg Field. Amos Alonzo Stagg, the great football coach who, I thought it was a football field, but maybe you're right. I don't know. Anyway, so that was.
I didn't even know University of Chicago had a football team. Soccer seems more appropriate for the University of Chicago.
The first Heisman Trophy, the first Heisman Trophy winner. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The first Heisman Trophy winner was a guy named Jay Berwanger. Okay, and he was from the University of Chicago. But they gave up football, many years ago.
They still probably play soccer.
Anyway. They may have like Division 16 football, and I'm not aware of it. All right, what else do we have here on the rundown? What would you like to talk about? You don't even have a rundown there. Oh, let's talk about this Kindle market. Have you ever been there?
I have not, but my sister does it every single year, and she buys Christmas gifts for the family from there that end up in the landfill by New Year's. So.
Well, it's a friend of mine said, there's nothing better than being packed in like sardines and seeing and eating smelly cheese next to people that you don't know.
It's actually I have gone. There's a woman that runs around that's supposed to be the Christ child, and she goes around and takes selfies with all the visitors.
Interesting. So there was a little controversy over it because the mayor, for some inexplicable reason, had reduced the capacity for this at daily. Okay, I can't remember the number, but they were like the numbers lower than the COVID levels. And so here's the thing, there's a simple solution. And I saw like the estimable Channel 9 reporter Ben Bradley did a tweet on this, one of those video tweets where he explained and, was trying to show his objective bona fides as not just a sieve for the Mayor Johnson administration by saying, hey, what's going on here? You've unnecessarily reduced the number of people who get to see this market. And but he left one thing out. And the one thing he left out was the solution. Bring in the Border Patrol. That's all. I mean, if you're worried about gangbangers, just bring in the Border Patrol. But
then can you imagine the amount of undocumented German immigrants are going to be at the Chris Kindle Mart? That's not a good look, pulling in blonde-haired, blue-eyed people and deporting them.
You're right.
Is it bona fides or
is
it bona fides or bona fides? I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I'm.
It depends what part of Chicago you're from. If you're from the west side, like I am, it's bona fides. Bona fides is, very Gold Coast. Very Gold Coast. So, Alderman Raymond Lopez, friend of the show, said West Side Wilding is fine. Okay. But we can't have tourist attraction like Chris Kindle Market. Anyway, let us move on here to this Michael McCarthy tweet, I believe it is, about this teacher saying that kids have no attention span in school. I wasn't able to read the entire tweet, as you well know, since I'm a public education product. But
and you have no attention span.
Right. No attention span. And that works in tandem with, there's been some recent research which was developed that, for example, colleges like even Stanford have to make accommodations because everybody is special ed now. I mean, everybody gets some sort of accommodation. So,
yeah, you think TikTok was an accident? It's a Chinese military developed that, right? In the lab right next to the COVID development lab.
Yeah. Speaking of TikTok, I mean, people are blaming TikTok, and justifiably so, for young people's views on Israel, because that's where they get their information. And guess who is on the side of righteousness and justice? And I can't believe it. You may need to edit me and muzzle me. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Hillary Clinton. Oh my God. She blames TikTok. Well, and it's really interesting. Well, you know that Bill, I think she's maneuvering for another run. I think because Bill actually congratulated Trump on the Gaza settlement and getting the hostages out. You know who didn't? Barack Obama did not. Michelle Obama did not. Michelle Obama's justifiably concerned about how, black women have to straighten their hair for everybody. And, Lord knows, thank goodness Josh Shapiro signed that legislation making it illegal. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, talk about my attention span, I can't stay on the same topic. Did you see that the Kamala Harris book came out? And Josh Shapiro is not portrayed in a flattering light. Apparently, he wanted some Pennsylvania artists' pictures to hang in the U.S. Naval Observatory once he got elected, and perish the thought of that. So, I mean, it's just like that was the complaint against this guy, who certainly had a better chance of carrying the swing state of Pennsylvania than Tim Walz did with the Somalis. Am I turning into Mark Levin here? I think so.
I don't know though. I think it's what's your policy going to be as vice president moving forward, Mr. Shapiro? Well, I want Pennsylvania artists in the Naval Observatory. Okay, get out of here.
Really?
That's it. Really?
We cannot countenance that.
10% inflation. Russia ready to take over Ukraine. Gaza committing genocide. Hamas committing genocide in Israel. And your concern is if Pennsylvania artists are representative in the naval.
No, that's what vice presidents do. Here's the thing: Kamala Harris. You know what the big thing? I think when it comes down to it, it was personality. She did not want to be overshadowed by a guy who's pretty popular in his home state, and she wanted that beta personality like Walz. And it was difficult because she's not a very strong person herself. So I understand that.
I saw somewhere that there's been a succession since Barack Obama is making sure that they pick a VP that's dumber than them. And and if you look, he picked Biden, and then Biden picked Kamala, and then Kamala picked
absolutely.
Walz.
All right. When we come back, we will get, I promise you, because I made this promise and I like to deliver, why women's farts are smellier than men's. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. So I guess you gents, for those of you who are actually watching this podcast, you noticed that there is a T-shirt slung over the back of my chair, and I didn't know that it was that noticeable, but you were able to read it, right? What does it say according to you?
Well, it says Rockford in the Cheap Trick font, so I assumed it was a Cheap Trick.
Yeah, it says Rockford Trickster as well. I got this as a gift when I guess Cheap Trick were going to be in Rockford. There was some kind of celebratory days, and I was substituting on AM 560 The Answer. So we had a guest on from Rockford, but they gave us these T-shirts, the swag. And by the way, I've gotten so much out of it because I basically just wear the T-shirt 6 out of 7 days. Actually, the only time that I'm out of the T-shirt is for this podcast. So when I put on,
and you've got one shirt, and you've got one shirt,
one shirt, one, and
2 shirts total.
Yeah, 2 shirts. And but you had mentioned in the break, I think, that you were wondering if this was for Paul Anka.
No, I said I assumed you're more of a Paul Anka fan and not a Cheap Trick fan.
Well, it's interesting. I like both of them. And I once was the MC for a Cheap Trick concert, believe it or not. But I won't get into great detail on that. And Excuse me. But as far as Paul Anka goes, somebody was mentioning on the podcast that, I liberally lift from all the time, the commentary podcast, that there was this special about Paul Anka, a documentary about him, and, what an imaginative songwriter he was, and how he, was eclipsed by the Beatles and, the British invasion, but still managed to become like a junior member of the Rat Pack. I won't go into great detail, but what interested me about it was that, did you know that he wrote the theme to the Tonight Show? Johnny Carson. It's called Johnny's theme. Da 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 da
I did.
da 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 da. Tim did not care. Did you even know Johnny's the theme to the Tonight Show?
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Okay,
I'm not that young.
But anyway, Paul Anka wrote it, and apparently was part of a bigger song that he wrote, and it netted like 60 million in royalties. Okay, over the 30 years.
Wow.
Carson had 60 million, but Carson took 30 million of it.
Huh.
So, I mean,
how does that work?
How big were the royalties? They were so big. So anyway, but
Bunny Carlos still lives in Rockford, I understand.
I see. Which that's nice when
I think doesn't Rick Nielsen still live in Rockford too?
I don't know, but Bunny Carlos is no longer in the band.
True. Rick Nielsen's son plays drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is above Bruce's knowledge.
Yeah, I was going to get back to Paul Anka talk, and you guys can talk about air conditioning. While I do that, I just wanted to say one thing about Paul Anka was that I'm embarrassed to say this. I mean, Johnny Carson was so prominent, and I love that theme so much that for my bar mitzvah party, okay.
Oh wow!
When they introduced the bar mitzvah boy for the first time, he's a band. Comes out here. I had the band play Johnny's theme. Okay,
wow.
Which is not a very Jewish kind of thing. It's very. I mean, it's the Tonight Show.
Sure.
And I was thinking, I'm just.
Did you have a rainbow colored curtain to walk out from behind?
Virtually. I'm just thinking that I'm just glad the Coen brothers, when they made A Serious Man, which is about 1960s Jewish family, and the bar mitzvah is the centerpiece of that they didn't know about me, because they could have easily just satirized the whole thing. Oh yeah, and here's this kid playing, Pink Cheeks, coming out.
Did you go up on? Did you do the whole thing? Did you put your hands behind your back and go up on your heels, up on your toes?
Did the golf swing? Did the golf swing? Of course, it being Jewish, I had a caddy, hand me the club. But it was anyway. That's Paul. So that's the story behind that. Okay, now our top story. We got to talk about this. I promised it. I just saw it in the New York Post, and I sent it over to Chris today, the day we're taping this. The New York Post actually has a story.
Chris said he thought he was going to get an article about the bomber, the January 5th bomber.
But as you pointed out, I mean it's a bomb of a sort, and this is the story is, and there's scientific evidence to boot. I think RFK will attest to this, and that's good enough for me. That women's farts. I don't even like to say farts. To me, it's dirty, but they smell worse than.
There is another word. There is a medical term for it. You could flatulence.
Flatulence, sure. Is that anything like felching, which is what Olivia Nuzzi and Ryan Lizza and.
Did you happen to look that up, Bruce?
Felching.
Yeah.
This was
it is Olivia Nuzzi. That's how you pronounce the name, right?
Tim.
So the story in the New York Post for that would be like Olivia Nuzzi, Ryan Lizza, RFK's Jizza. Is that what it would be? Anyway.
Tim, did you know what it was though? Because Bruce.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I've.
What is felching again?
That was the question on Ask Bruce Anything last week when you weren't. When you were.
No,
Michigan.
It actually came.
But I didn't have an answer.
It actually made the cut.
Yeah.
Tom Owens actually asked the question.
Sure.
No, I saw that. I didn't know if it made the cut or not, or if you just ignored it.
Oh, that was the first question.
Oh.
Yeah. I just, but anyway, we're getting away from the apparently there is scientific evidence that, and I didn't actually go into the story on that. I was hoping that you'd flesh it out for us, Tim, but you apparently don't know. I could just tell by the look on your face.
Oh, no. I just don't want to talk about it.
Okay, let's move on then.
No. I meant felching.
Oh, felching.
Yeah,
Well,
we could talk about flatulence. We could talk about women's flatulence.
Yeah, well, women's flatulence. How is that scientifically worse?
It apparently it smells worse, right? Is that what? Yeah, which makes sense. I don't know how they judged it. You know, it's pretty hard to.
Well, I think I've seen, America's Got Flatulence, the show, and Howard Stern always gives it to the woman. So that might be sexism on his part.
I think it's because it's aged longer.
Sure.
Men all the time. Pull my finger. Ah!
Yeah, exactly.
Women know they
marinate in it.
They'll hold it. They'll hold it for hours until they can find a private location.
It's part of the patriarchy, is what you're saying. Okay, yeah, they can't express themselves. They're muted that way. I understand that. Men
figure it's better to let it out and bear the shame than hold it in and suffer the pain.
Oh man, that's either fortune cookie or bumper sticker.
My Irish grandmother, actually.
It's great. It's great. All right. Well, while we're on the women's beat, and I knew this story was too good to be true. You have the Science Girl tweet, which it's helpful if you can see it, but it's a woman with 2 newborn babies in her arms, twins. Okay, and she is beautiful. The woman, okay, and she's, let the record show. Tim, are we agreed? She's a beautiful woman.
She is attractive. She is attractive.
She's got the 2 babies. Well, the story says a 19-year-old woman gave birth to twins, and a paternity test later revealed something incredibly rare. Each twin had a different father. She was friends with both fathers, only hours apart. And doctors explained that she had released 2 eggs that were fertilized separately on the same day. The unusual situation is known as heteropaternal superfecundation, which I think comes right after felching, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, it's amazing that there's a medical term for being a slut.
Right. Well, the more syllables you put in it, the more it's cleaned up. But here's the thing, and I think this happened in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. And you see, then you're trying to imagine. Of course, you're trying to imagine.
So she got a Brazilian wax.
That there's 2 guys here, and they got this Brazilian woman. But readers adding context to this, it did happen supposedly, but that's not the woman. Okay.
Oh.
So no, I mean, if that doesn't cause your felch to sag, I don't know. So, but yeah, I mean, the story's only as good as how pretty she is doing this, right? Because you want your sluts to be good looking. That's not like Stormy Daniels looks now, right?
Sure.
So
if you want to be a serial killer with national attention, make sure you murder only good-looking blondes. Same kind of concept. Right?
I hate to reduce it to those terms, but there you go. All right. So, do you believe?
Can I throw something in while we're talking about good-looking women?
Yeah.
It's I saw a couple episodes of Landman.
Oh yeah, I had that on the agenda. But go ahead, bring it up to the 3rd segment.
It would appear that they're still showing Michelle Randolph with a bare midriff, but they're no longer showing her belly button. She's wearing very high-waisted.
Well,
outfits.
she's wearing that TCU cheerleader outfit. Not that I know the school.
We also brought this up last week. Tim,
she's
also wearing high-waisted clothes. I noticed it as well.
But isn't she? And she's also even dumber than she was before.
Yeah, well,
she's, But,
yeah, well, she can.
Oh, you know what? And Landman this week. Did you see it this past week? I don't want to spoiler alert.
I did not see it this past week.
All I can tell you, speaking of felching, okay, Chris, would you agree with me? I mean, there's a scene there where Billy Bob Thornton, and is hanged, he sounds like Hank Hill, is stoic, and he's instructing his wife on how to do something that I think leads to felching. while they're in the
talking about the teeth
pickup.
comment.
Oh yeah, snow cones and popsicles and things like that. So yeah, you've got a lot to look forward to there. All right, Tim. I mean, you're our conspiracy guy. Talk to me about and it came out this last week, I guess. All of a sudden, this burst because Brett Baer did a story on it, and Brett Baer says, he's giving it some credence. Oh, there's UFOs out there. Oh, sure. Yeah, we know about it. Here's some government people. Yeah. We know that there's alien life. Now, I noticed that Marco Rubio, a few days later, kind of walked it back. He said, I was on some show 3-4 years ago. Well, we'll talk about that when we get back. Okay. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Okay, you had to wait for this, but are the UFOs for real? Are they?
They're unidentified and they're flying, and
they're objects.
I'm still reading off the old script. Is that the big in the 50s? Oh my gosh, are we being visited by another by another species from another planet? And all the whole UFO thing started. Then it turns out the Air Force was just testing new jets. That's all it was. They were testing jets.
For those of you who don't have the visuals here, I mean, a wonderful.
Oh, this is Tim Foyle time.
It's Tim Foyle, and it shows Foyle. Is that you? I can't even tell. No,
not him. No,
it's not.
Doesn't matter. No. It looks like I'm in your office there, though. I mean,
it does.
Like I'm in front of your blind.
Yeah, you're wearing a Cheap Trick T-shirt there. So, all right, no, but anyway, there's this guy tweeting. His name is UAP James, and he sounds really official. And he tweets this whole thing about non-human bodies discovered. Okay, Brett Baer reports on secret government UAP program, and this is UAP James's tweet. Interviews with Carl Nell and Tim Gallaudet, Peter Skafish, and Senator Mark Kelly. And this is going to change the arc of human history. We're not alone in the universe, and higher order non-human being intelligence are visiting us. And it was unbelievable. It just had some intellectual heft. So I responded to that tweet by saying, "Okay, but should I have started Dak Prescott this week instead of waiting for Justin Herbert tomorrow in fantasy football?" That's my my comment to it. And this guy, UAP James, liked my tweet.
Wow.
Okay. So I don't know if he's hard up for anybody to like it, but he sounds like he's got a following. He sounds like he's legit, but I don't know. He kind of lost a little cred when he liked my tweet. Okay, but there you go.
Well, anyway. I go through everyone that comments on my tweets. I go and like them all. That moves. I think that moves it up in the feed. I think that tricks the algorithm.
All right. So Tim,
speaking of UFOs, unidentified objects, can we talk about Michelle Randolph's navel again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. What's your theory?
I think the high-waisted things is she kind of do you remember the AT&T girl, Lily? Is that I forget what her real name is, but the real life in real life, she got sick of guys commenting about the size of her 5Gs.
Okay. All right.
And so she refused to go on. She refused to go on any AT&T commercials until they gave her a big blousy shirt so that you could not see the 5Gs.
I get it.
And I think Michelle Randolph did the same thing.
I see. Well, it'll probably come out in the Taylor Sheridan biography. It'd be more than a footnote.
The argument over Michelle Randolph's navel.
Yeah.
There she is. There she is. What's her name, Chris? I forget. What's her real name? It's Natasha or something like that. Yeah. She's Eastern European.
Yeah. Very nice. No, that sounds credible to me. Look, this is an important story. You got the Mark Mueller tweet here, Chris.
It's Melania, Tim.
Melania, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Melania what?
Yeah. The Mark Weiermuller tweet, Chris, because we got to cover some important local news, and because we've gone into the gutter. And speaking of the gutter,
we had same thing here. We got that snowfall came down here in my village. Is that the snow came before they could get the leaves up.
Oh, that's bad.
It is such a mess. It is.
All right, so here's Mark Weiermuller, and the picture is of a street, that has all this flooding, pooling near the curb, and he says Chicago spends millions on roads, and yet look what's going on here at Wolfram and North Paulina, and I was thinking, if you really want to be comprehensive, you don't just cover the wet spots on North Paulina. You also cover the wet spots on Melvina and Lunt. Okay, and we need to have. You see why I was introduced as Johnny Carson? Da 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 da. Oh, this kid's got a million of them.
It's such a funny Chicago joke. It's
only totally people, Chicago.
Only people in Chicago get that joke.
And it's a guy Chicago joke. It's a guy. I've never heard one woman ever get anywhere. First of all, the joke is never told in front of a woman. It's a total. Who's that senator from Arizona? Is it Ruben Gallego right now? He was caught with his texts down, and just talking about Democrats used to be the party, drugs and free love and everything like that, and now the men look like women. The men this is a Democrat saying this. The male Democrats look like women, and the women Democrats look like men. And I mean, it was a Democrat saying it, And I'm thinking presidential timber, probably.
It's a nice crossover vote. Nice,
right. Well, the crossovers are the Democrats as well. Oh,
growing up downriver, there's a downriver Detroit. There's a joke that only downriver people know. Is that there's a Dixie Highway? I don't know if you realize this. It actually has two branches. One goes through Michigan, the other one goes through Illinois. Then they meet up somewhere down south.
Well, I do know Dixie Highway. Yeah,
right. And it's where it goes through Detroit for a while. There, it's called Dix Avenue, DIX. And there's also a cross street called Champaign. So the downriver joke is, well, I knew a fellow that lived right there on the corner.
Yeah, sure. And just fill in the blank. Yeah.
He lived on.
Hey, it makes you want to visit Detroit. I'll tell you, on the way to Niagara Falls, maybe, but at least stop and
Niagara Falls.
Stop and see the Joe Louis Fist and go to the corner of Dixon Champagne. Yeah. Okay. All right. Got it. Hey, how about those Bears? They won that big game. Signature victory. Okay, it was on a Friday.
I was in Michigan, and they were rooting for the Eagles because that was the only chance. That was the only chance the Lions had. Bears losing.
But the big story is that the coach Ben Johnson, after the game, in the locker room, takes off his shirt and starts yelling, and rousing the troops. First of all, I hate. Look, it's not the first time a Bear coach has done that. Abe Gibron in 1974, when the Bears upset a team, Kent Nix was the substitute quarterback. He won. And Abe Gibron, see, this would be a Chicago joke right now. Took off his shirt because Abe Gibron never took off his shirt. He was like about 350 pounds.
Okay.
But yeah. Here's a guy.
Sometimes he'd raise his arms a little too high, and it would look like he took off his shirt.
Yeah, this guy's got like a $40 million contract. He's been damn lucky this year that they've won several of their games. The Eagles game, that was pretty good. I mean, the Bears went from there was a statistic. It's called DVOA. It's the metric. Don't ask me how they figure it out. The Bears, before that game last week, were the worst 8-3 team in NFL history. Okay. But I'm thinking after the game, they were the best middling 9-3 team in NFL history. So it's going to be a big game against the Packers. And just to show you a little historical sense, It's probably the biggest Bears-Packers game since the NFC Conference Championship, when Jay Cutler had to be substituted for by a quarterback by the name of Caleb Haney. And now we're going to have Caleb Williams quarterbacking the Bears. I mean, how about Caleb Symmetry catch it? And probably the strategy will be the same as the Eagles game. You don't want him throwing too many passes because he's not been. That's the secret to the Bears has been the defense and the running game. I mean, they had like over 250 yards of running or something like that on Friday.
So we got some snow predicted. Is it going to be a classic?
Well, I was invited to go to this game by a guy, and old guy. It's too cold for me. I can't go. So, but the temperature is going to get up. But it's a late start, so the sun will be going down in Green Bay. Okay, and it's going to get down into the teens at that point. And I mean, I'm a spoiled press box guy. I mean,
you'll call the game, but you're not going to sit there and watch
it. That. No, I took my kid. This is years ago. He wanted to see Michael Vick. The Bears were hosting Atlanta on a Sunday night, and it was like 7 below zero. And we had all those heat packs in our shoes.
That would be a 3-dog night.
Oh yeah. All right. Show's over. All right. Yeah. Well, that. Anyway, it was too cold.
There's Sydney Sweeney's.
Yeah. Right.
We've only got a minute left. I pulled up these pictures. I'm damn sure going to show them.
What was the Sydney Sweeney reason?
Martha Stewart's taken over as the American.
Oh yeah, Martha Stewart's taken over American Eagle, and I've just decided, when I saw that I am change my burial shroud to American Eagle jeans, because that's who you have doing testimonials right now. You go from Sydney Sweeney to Martha Stewart. So a good way to close. How many more pictures?
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay. You showed Martha Stewart. All right. So your prediction quickly, Tim, on the Bears Packers, whom you don't care about, one whit.
It's gonna be cold, and there's probably going to be some lake effect snow, and so it'll make great television.
And after our broadcast, Tim and Chris will be doing more heating and air conditioning talk. This is the weekly wrap with Bruce Wolf and Tim Slagle.
And that's the weekly wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The weekly wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.